As You Like It, a romantic comedy by William Shakespeare. Characters, themes, summary, and analysis. Hello and welcome to the Discourse. Today we will discuss the summary of one of very popular comedy drama of William Shakespeare titled As You Like It. It is a pastoral comedy with a setting of country life. In this play, one of the themes is to show that country life is better than the court or city life. It was one of the very light comedy drama of Shakespeare which became very popular in audience, but critics had a mixed review of this play. George Bernard Shaw suggested that Shakespeare produced this play only for commercial success and offered the audience what they would like, and hence the title was chosen As You Like It. While it is a romantic comedy, there is a melancholic malcontent character, Jacques, who offers philosophical weight to the drama as he speaks many impressive speeches including all the world's stage. A malcontent is a character in a drama who is discontent with the social conditions and other characters in a play. Let us discuss the characters of this play. The major characters of this play can be divided in three groups. The first group is Court of Duke Senior. Duke Senior is the ruler of a duchy. His younger brother Duke Frederick usurps the duchy and forces Duke Senior to run away in exile. Rosalind is the daughter of Duke Senior, who is the main heroine of this play, and Celia is Duke Frederick's daughter. Rosalind and Celia are very close cousins. Jester Touchstone is humorous and witty. He is loyal and caring towards Celia. When Celia decides to go to the forest with Rosalind in exile, Touchstone accompanies them in order to lighten their ordeal and to protect them. Jacques is a lord outside of the duchy. He meets Duke Senior in the forest during his exile. Jacques is an important character as he continues to point out that despite all the wit and youthfulness of the people in the forest, the real world is harsh, full of sorrow, sadness, and death. He is a malcontent contrasting character. Household of late Sir Roland D. Boyce. The second group of characters is from household of Sir Roland D. Boyce. He had three sons. The eldest is Oliver D. Boyce. The second son is Jacques D. Boyce, who is studying in a college. And the youngest one is Orlando D. Boyce. Before his death, Roland D. Boyce distributed his wealth and property in all his sons equally. However, Oliver is greedy and he has some strange apathy against Orlando. He tries to take away his share of property and even tries to harm him fatally. Adam is an old faithful servant of the house of Roland D. Boyce. He has sympathy towards Orlando and he continues to be loyal to him. The third group is of pastoral folks in the Forest of Arden. Phebe is a proud shepherdess and Silvius, a shepherd, wants to marry her. While Phebe is aware of Silvius' feelings, she doesn't respond to him. Corinne is an elderly shepherd. Along with them, there is a curator and a countryman. The play depicts the interactions between the characters belonging to these three groups. Now let us discuss the summary of As You Like It. The play begins with Orlando and Oliver's struggle. Orlando is the younger son of Sir Roland D. Boyce, who recently died. His elder brother has a grudge against him. Oliver treats him harshly, and that frustrates Orlando. In his frustration, Orlando challenges Charles, a court wrestler, for a duel. When Oliver comes to know about this, he reaches Charles and bribes him to injure and harm Orlando if possible. On the other hand, Duke Frederick has usurped the power from his elder brother, Duke Senior, and had deposed him as the head of the court. Duke Senior haven't opposed this treachery strongly and rather have opted to go on exile in the Forest of Arden. Frederick wants to banish Rosalind too, who is the daughter of Duke Senior. However, Celia, the daughter of Frederick, opposes him and Duke Frederick agrees to let Rosalind live in the court with Celia. Celia is very close to her cousin Rosalind, and as Rosalind feels sad about her father, she encourages her and tells her to let the power of her love heal herself and others. Rosalind and Selina visit the court to watch the wrestling match between Charles and Orlando, in which Orlando beats Charles down. Rosalind is impressed by Orlando. She offers him her chain to wear as a prize for his win. Orlando falls in love with her. Orlando comes to know about how Oliver bribed Charles to harm him. He realizes that his life is in danger, so he runs away to take refuge in the Forest of Arden. Adam is a loyal servant of the house of the boys. He decides to be with Orlando to help him. They visit the Forest of Arden where Duke Senior is living. Jacques tries to impress Duke Senior and offers a philosophical speech, all words a stage. All the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. The speech explains how a man keeps changing and playing different roles in life, how he begins as a simple novice and how again he reaches to a second childhood or old age, nearly into oblivion. Right then, Adam, a very old yet active and loyal servant, and Orlando reach there. Orlando asks for help from Duke Senior, who lets him join them. Duke Frederick sees Celia and Rosalind together, and he couldn't control his hatred anymore. He banishes Rosalind too. Celia decides to go with Rosalind, and they decide to take shelter in the Forest of Arden. Just a touchstone is very caring towards Celia, and he offers to go with the girls to help and protect them in the jungle. They decide to go in disguise in order to keep themselves safe. Rosalind disguises as a young man named Ganymede, and Celia disguises as a common shepherd girl named Eliana. In the Forest of Arden, Ganymede, Eliana, and Touchstone meet an elder shepherd, Corin, who needs someone to take care of his property. Rosalind, disguised as Ganymede, takes his property on lease, and they start living there. Ganymede observes Silvius, a shepherd, who is in love with Phebe, a scornful shepherd. Silvius proposes Phebe for marriage, but Phebe rejects him scornfully. Ganymede befriends Silvius and scolds him for losing his self-respect for love. Ganymede tries to soothe Phebe too, to make her accept love of Silvius. Phebe, on the other hand, finds herself attracted towards Ganymede. In the forest, Orlando continues to feel his love for Rosalind, and he writes poetic verses and hangs them on trees in memory of his love, Rosalind, whom he met just once. Touchstone sees a shepherd girl, Audrey, and falls in love with her. He woos her with his courtly manner. He comes to know about William, who is a suitor of Audrey, and he warns him to leave Audrey or he will kill him in 150 ways. Duke Senior is living not very far from Rosalind's home in the forest, but they are unaware of each other. One day, Eliana and Ganymede see Oliver carving poetic lines on trees. They realize that Orlando is lovesick. They meet him, and Ganymede tries to soothe him and tells him that he can cure him of his lovesickness. Ganymede scolds Orlando and tells him to be a responsible and better lover. He says that he can teach Orlando how to be a better lover if Orlando agrees to pretend to love him and pursue him, assuming he is Rosalind, which Ganymede actually is. Duke Frederick comes to know that Orlando left his home on the same day when Rosalind and Celia went away. To get his daughter back, he orders Oliver to find the whereabouts of his brother Orlando. Oliver visits the Forest of Arden, where he is attacked by a venomous snake. Orlando sees his brother's life in danger and reaches to save him while injuring himself in the process. His dress gets drenched in his blood. Oliver, when sees that Orlando didn't even care for his own life to save him, feels a change of heart. Oliver asks for forgiveness and promises to mend his ways. Orlando runs to the house of Ganymede and Eliana to inform them about this good news. When Rosalind, disguised as Ganymede, sees Orlando's shirt drenched in blood, she fails to control her feelings and faints. Oliver too visits Ganymede's house, and there he sees this shepherdess girl, Eliana. He is a changed man, and he finds himself fallen in love with Eliana, a poor countryside girl who actually is Celia, the daughter of Duke Frederick. When Ganymede recovers, he decides to end this game of disguise and devises a plan to get everyone married with their love. She visits Phebe as Ganymede and accepts her love. As Ganymede, he tells Phebe that he will marry her, But, but if for any reason they fail to marry, then Phoebe must marry Silvius. Phoebe promises to do so. So everything is arranged now for the marriage of Rosalind with Orlando, Celia with Oliver, Audrey with Touchstone, and Phoebe with Ganymede. On the wedding day, Duke Frederick decides to attack Forest of the Arden to kill Duke Senior and get his daughter Celia back. On the way, he meets an old monk who makes him realize his mistake. Duke Frederick decides to repent and lead a life of hermit. He announces dukedom back to his elder brother Duke Senior. With the help of God Hymen, Ganymede reappears as Rosalind in female dress. Rosalind tells Phoebe all about her disguise as Ganymede and persuades her to marry Silvius. Eliana also removes her disguise and appears as Celia, the daughter of Duke Frederick. Jacques de Bois, the elder brother of Orlando and younger to Oliver, visits Forest of Arden and informs Duke Senior about the change of heart of Duke Frederick. Duke Senior offers Rosalind's hand to Orlando and Celia's hand to Oliver. Audrey is married to Touchstone and Phoebe marries Silvius. While Duke Frederick goes to monastery in Forest of Arden, Duke Senior goes back to the court. Jacques the clown decides to remain in the forest and rather to pursue Duke Frederick. The drama ends with a dance to celebrate the 4 marriages. Themes. Just like A Midsummer Night's Dream, As You Like It is a romantic comedy by Shakespeare with a happy ending. The main theme of this play is to express love as a means of happiness and well-being. During the Elizabethan era, poets and dramatists often described love as a reason for sadness and suffering. Male lovers were depicted as slaves of their beloved, and love was often depicted as perfect, mythical, and unattainable. However, this drama ridicules such claims. While Jacques and Touchstone continues to criticize love and its difficulties, Rosalind displays a kind of love that can not only exist and survive in the real world, but can also bring delights for everyone, a kind of harmonious love. Rosalind says, "Men have died from time to time and worms have eaten them, but not for love." She scolds Silvius for his blind servitude towards Phoebe in love. She also disapproves the platonic love of Orlando towards her, and disguised as Ganymede, she teaches him how to care and love in a better and responsible manner. Other important theme is the natural law of change. Jacques offers the famous speech, "All the world is a stage." The speech depicts the malleability of human nature and how easily it can change for the betterment of himself and for the betterment of the whole society. The Forest of Arden is depicted as some magical land. Rosalind, who is pessimistic and worries a lot, turns into a confident and optimistic person who leads others for a better future. Duke Frederick, who wants to kill his own brother, meets a religious man and instantly decides to turn into a hermit, giving the duchy back to his elder brother. Similarly, Oliver, who is full of hate and treachery, learns to love others. Right after entering the Forest of Arden, he starts loving his brother and Selina, who is disguised as a poor girl. The society improves as a whole as Duke Senior becomes the ruler, offering just and peaceful administration. The biggest change is depicted by transformation of Rosalind to Ganymede and Ganymede to Rosalind herself. However, the magic of Arden isn't necessary for these changes, as knowledgeable Rosalind herself inspires and exhorts all of them to be better. There is a sharp contrast between Jacques and Rosalind. Jacques wants to be a court fool of Duke Senior. Duke Senior is impressed by him and thinks of him as a philosopher. However, Jacques is unable to be active in life. He appears to be philosophically intelligent but unable to act intelligently. On the other hand, Rosalind proves herself as the apt leader. The other major theme is the contrast between the country life and the court life. It is depicted that despite being less comfortable and natural, nascent, country life is much better than the court life. So this was all about As You Like It. We will continue to discuss other plays of Shakespeare. Please stay connected with the discourse. Thanks and regards.